Hey guys, it's your girl Tubbi of the Nerdy Bird site, rocking with the antidote.com as always, bringing you another live exclusive right here from the parlor.
It's Mr. Matt, S.C.C, South Coast Coalition, and you're watching The Antidote.
You guys, I have a really special treat for you. A lot of you may know Matt. You may know what the South Coast Coalition is, what it's about, but for those of you who don't, you're in for a real treat. Let's kind of just jump straight into it. You guys have been around since the 90s, like really established yourself in 93. Let's kind of briefly touch on that. How did the vision come into play? What inspired the movement?
You know, at the time, wasn't too much South rap going on at the time, so I was kind of had a heavy East Coast influence, and you know, just listened to rap ever since I was young, and started writing rhymes. Met my partner Brock. I think it was like 9th grade, I believe, and just went from there. You know, he started, you know, I was writing first, he started writing too, and we actually we came up with the name in 91.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, but we put out, I guess you want to, I would call it a mixtape, because we
Back
jacked other
then.
people's beats. Back then, before it was called mixtapes, that was in 92. That one was called It Don't Stop, and then we put out our first tape with statewide distribution, South Coast Flavor, in 95.
Oh, very nice, very nice. So through that transitional period in the 90s, it kind of really appropriated the idea for what business would be like.
Yeah.
So I want to say personally, it was around the 2000s, more like 03, 04, when the South really started recognizing you guys for the stamp and the heavy hitters that you were. So let's kind of talk about those projects that released in 04. That was a big year.
Yeah. Well, actually, we started with we had a compilation series called Third World.
Right.
And that started actually in 2002, which was the first. And then we had part 2 in 2003. And then our biggest record at the time was Trump Music, which came out with a DVD. We had a single, Murder Man Dance, which with Lil Boosie and Tebow. And that came out in 2004. But that was pretty much I would say, the height.
And I think a lot of those guys were really young then. They were just kind of coming into it and getting their feet wet too. So how was that experience, knowing that you kind of helped mold some of those careers that are really buzzing now?
You know, it was a big deal to us, because really with the compilation projects, what we wanted to do is kind of take the hottest artists in the city and put them together. You know, some people who didn't want to work with each other, we kind of made them work with each other, you know, really to kind of promote unity in the city. Because, you know, for us, that was always an important thing that we tried to push, because we feel like if, you know, to have the spotlight on Baton Rouge, you know, the spotlight can be on more than just one artist.
Of course. And I think it was so beautiful, because even though a lot of those artists have a Baton Rouge style where music is concerned, it was so many different personalities, so many different characters. How is that experience once you get these guys in a room and you put them on a track? Does the energy change, or is it what we all expect it to be? You know, a bunch of testosterone.
Man, we had Boosie calls our old studio the Shed, but we actually behind Brock's mom's house, we built a studio.
Nice.
And when I tell you, everybody came through there. You know, there wasn't that many studios at the time.
Right.
You had Mr. Lee, rest in peace, in Baker. Before that, you had Tommy Jefferson, who recorded a lot of the early CeeLo records and stuff like that. You had Greg Dukes, another veteran in the game. But besides that, you know, that was really, there wasn't that many places.
Right.
So, I mean, anybody you can think of came through, and we had some good times in that studio. We did.
That is awesome. Now, if you had to pick your favorite constellation, or your favorite mixtape, or your favorite, I guess, just set of people to work with at the time, who would that have been?
Our favorite to work with?
Yeah, let's go there first.
Oh man, that's a tough question.
He said, I'm making it too hard for him, y'all.
That's a tough question. Man, there's so many. You know, there's so many.
Like, I'll take that. That's a good thing when you can't choose. That means that's a lot of good experiences.
You know, I will say this. You know, shout out to my brother Max Manelli. You know, and Boosie too. One thing that was good about working with them, they were one take.
Right.
You know, in and out. You know, Boosie was in and out. You know, at that point back in the day. You know, as far as now, I don't know, but I know at that point, you know, 2 takes at the most, but usually 1 take, and he was done. Just natural. You know. And there's some people, I'm not going to say names, but might have took 3 hours. You know, it shocked me, to be honest. There was a couple I would consider lyricists, and I was surprised at the writer's block that they would have sometimes, or how long it would take. You know, some people need to get punched in every couple bars, and you would never know once you hear the final product. Some people like to run it through. You know, myself, I don't like to punch in. I've never ever punched in. I want to run all the way through, and if I don't like it, I'll start at the top. again. But it's just so many different personalities, so many different. There's so many, man. There's so many.
Look, I think that's cool because not only from a platform's perspective, or you're providing a place where everybody can come and be a creative, right. You're a creative yourself. Mm-hmm. So during that whole process where you are again providing that platform, how cool was it to actually take something from those other artists that directly influenced your own work?
Man, that's a good question. Some of these artists we were fans of first, right. Before we had a relationship with them and, became friends and stuff like that. So, and that was one, really cool thing about the first time I remember Young Bleed coming through, because Act the Fool was just an iconic, classic Baton Rouge record.
That's the jam.
Such a big record,
right.
One of the biggest records of all time, if not the biggest record of all time, from BR. So to be a fan first and have him come through, that was a really cool time. But, again, there's so many.
Awesome. Now, this month, you guys, we actually have I can't say it's a surprise, but this is the behind the scenes. You're getting all the exclusives right here. You are releasing a new work.
Yes.
So let's kind of get into it. We don't necessarily have a date, but we know that it is very soon.
It's going to be, May 2019. It'll be this month. And it's Third World 3. And it's just, we put a lot into it, too. We want to make sure it's been so many years since we, put out another installment for the Third World series. So we put a lot of time into it, shot 6 videos. Ooh. Shout out to Joe Mexican and Kushacha. And, but we put a lot into it. We put a whole lot into it. So many artists. We got Mystical on there. We got Boosie on a couple records.
Nice.
Young Bleed, Max Minnelli, nice. Currency, Level, Tebow, Lil Witness. And I also wanted to incorporate not just the veterans, but some of the guys,
some of the rookies,
the new guys coming up who have a lot of talent. I got Joe Scott on there.
Shout out Joe.
We got Hot Boy Major, BZKKK. Mook. So just trying to
I'm excited. I'm excited about that. That's kind of going to bridge the generations where Baton Rouge music is speaking. And with Joe Scott being so different in his style of music, I'm kind of excited to see that merger and how some of those songs are going to play out. Now, 6 videos. That's dope.
Right.
So I put a lot of time in there, right?
We did. That's what, and when I go in the editing room and edit the videos, I don't like to, I'll have the video ready in 3 hours.
Right.
That's just not, from my film background, I usually like to spend 3 or 4 days on the edit, making sure the color's right. All the effects and stuff like that. So it's not one of those, let's record it today, put it out tomorrow.
Right.
That's just not how we do anything. So
and I appreciate the fact that you are so hands-on in every aspect of the business, from actually working hands-on with the artist to actually writing the music to being a part of the production to actually using that film background to get behind the camera and say, no, not this angle, not that lighting, move him here, move that way. And I love the fact that most of the videos have a storyline.
Yes.
And it's not just the same old, stand around, bob and weave.
Right. Well, that's what I like Joe Scott's one. I'll shout out Joe Scott because he's one who he cares about the visuals. He wants to be involved in the narrative.
Right.
Where it's not just throw the camera on a gimbal and go out there and just, that's cool too. Nothing against that. But, we like to have a narrative. Behind it and spend time writing a treatment, instead of just going out there and turning the camera on. So.
Very nice. So with this new release, Third World, you guys, be ready this month.
Yes.
Tune in, like, subscribe, check in with the antidote. We will have that information up for you guys. We'll let you know where you can check in for all major streaming to get direct links to the new work. I'm excited, just being here in Baton Rouge and experiencing the types of music and the artists that we were able to develop over the years. I'm excited to kind of see where some of our veterans are mentally and what our rookies have actually taken from the cadence that they left behind.
Yes. And that's one thing I hear a topic, people talk about, I like the old or I like the new. There's nothing wrong with liking both. I support everybody. There's a lot of new artists I like, and then there's a lot of veterans that, you want to pay homage to, because without them, there wouldn't be the platform that there is, And Baton Rouge still doesn't have a lot of, a big platform. That's one thing, again, like the antidote, that I support because it provides a platform. Because there's not that much out here. So if people come together, I think artists come together, you can accomplish so much more.
Everything. So much of our sound, our style, our charisma, our swag is taken.
Yes.
And, you know, credit is given to different areas, different states, different artists. And I completely agree. Just being able to work together and not feel like crabs in a bucket, that mentality where you have to pull somebody down to get there. So again, that's why I'm excited. I love the fact that you are dabbling in the newer artists, those rookies in the game, and kind of tying them in with the vets. This is gonna be dope, y'all. I don't think y'all understand how dope this is gonna be. Now, where should they be following on social media to stay linked in until we get that due date?
You know, at South Coast Coalition, pretty much on all platforms. You know, got our YouTube page moving, you know, up and moving with all the videos. So you can go check that out.
Nice.
But we're heavily involved on the social media side, you know, for sure. So, you know, definitely, like I said, at South Coast Coalition on all platforms.
Nice, very nice, you guys. Again, go follow right now. Pause me and go follow right now. Coming into this month, really excited about the new release. Outside of the project itself and the videos that are going to come with it, what can we be expecting for you in the turn of 19?
Man, well, also I've got I partnered up with Max Finelli. I got a documentary called Diamonds in the Dirt, and that's basically the whole history of Baton Rouge rap from 1985 all the way through now.
Wait.
You know, yeah.
I just got chills. I don't think y'all ready. I don't think that means behind the scenes stories, footage that we've all wondered about.
Yeah.
But we actually get the real stories behind it now.
Yeah, well, we sat down with, I would say, probably about 100 of the artists, producers, radio personalities, you know, some government officials to you know, talk about their sides of things. You know, it's just, I'm not just saying, it's such a good project. You know, we spent on part one, we're on part two now. Part one's 110 minutes. And I know it seems, you know, long, but it's action packed. You know, I want to make sure too, and my main goal in filmmaking is to not to get you to watch something, what's going to get you to watch it multiple times.
Right.
So when I'm watching it over and over, I'm like, okay, this needs to go. If this is moving a little slow, let's take this out so it'll kind of pick up or whatever. But I mean, the footage is just unreal. We have footage that even artists, how did you find that footage on me? I said, I'm not going to tell you that. Well, let me see it. You can see it when it comes out.
Okay, how cool is that? Now, how hard is it to sit on that project knowing all of the great stuff, all the great feed and footage that's in it? How complicated has it been to not like spill the beans on that one?
It's tough. It's tough. It's tough. Because really, a small team putting it together. You know, Koo shot you. Shout out to Koo, did a lot of the cinematography. Joe Mexican on the editing and the, you know, the effects and the color and stuff like that. And Max is basically doing the narration.
Oh, nice.
You know, doing the narration. So, but the footage is just, I mean, I did go to Louisiana Archive Building, dug up a lot of stuff, got to get some stuff, and we were able to even sit with like Edwin Edwards, you know, Hiller Moore, because he was able to provide some insight. Police Chief Jeff LaDuff.
You know, people that you don't even think.
You don't think, but there's a lot of behind the scenes where they're trying to. They met with a lot of artists behind the scenes to try to what can they do to tone down the violence.
Right.
You know, so it's not just it's about the music, but it's also about you know, from the community involvement. You know, from the just so much, you know, on building the city from then till now.
Right.
You know, and covering all the movements from the beginning, you know, to the concentration camp era, to trill era, to the jig era,
I'm so excited.
And today. So it covers everybody.
I'm so excited. I don't think you guys understand. You need to be on the lookout for the new documentary that is coming out. I don't think we can ask for anything else. Like I said, just wondering from an entertainment's perspective, there's so many questions and so many things that we assume happen.
Right.
But now we get to see it.
Right.
So I appreciate you for that. That is dope.
And we're letting the artists tell the story. So not just us thinking what we thought might have happened.
Right.
We let them tell it, because who can tell your own legacy better than yourself?
How dope.
Now, but we did get different sides of stories too. So if there was a story that involved, you know, we would get one side, another side, and we would edit it together.
Right.
You know, and what was cool is how the stories always matched up.
That's
so that way
so
you know it's the truth.
It's the
you
truth.
Know it's real. You know, so that was pretty cool. Things I learned. You know, those things I thought I knew everything. You know, but I didn't. There was things that I learned that I was like, okay, cool. Like certain artists, I didn't realize who changed their name, but it was the same artist. I thought it was two different artists. Or, you know, even taking us back to 1985, I didn't realize the first rap record from Baton Rouge was called Missing Kids. hit Billboard in 1985.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, so it's
history lessons.
I thought Kuiper was first, but before Kuiper, there was group reality with the song Missing Kids.
That is so cool. Now I want to go look into it and see if I can find it, because I didn't know that. I didn't know that at all. That is really dope. Yeah. So I guess I just want to pick your brain a little bit now. So all of the history, all of the years, all of the transitions, all the different hats in the business where you're, again, the front line there. If you had to give advice to artists trying to get in the industries, film students, interns, colorists, whomever, what advice could you give as far as staying consistent and being professional?
I would say, well, the advice, first of all, you got to believe in yourself. Like, you have to really not just say you believe in yourself, but you got to really believe in yourself. Stay in your own lane. Don't worry about what the next person is doing. You can still support that person, but whatever works for you, stay in that lane, And that's something that we learned, like the first, I would say, when we from 95 to 98, rest in peace, MC Nero, but he really put us on as far as he had a Got a Lot of Respect tour, and which was another anthem from Baton Rouge, Got a Lot of Respect, and he put us on his tour, and the first, I would say, 3 or 4 years, me and my partner Brock were the only white people in the club. We never saw a white person, but we realized, like, we went that route to get our respect, but that wasn't our lane. So once we figured out what our lane was, but you don't know your lane till you have to get out there and just, firsthand experience. And you're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna do a lot of things wrong, but you learn from those mistakes and apply them to, the next business decision you make, and you'll find your way.
Very nice.
You gotta keep going. Don't stop either. If you go into it halfway, then that's the results you're gonna get. So you gotta go all out.
You heard that, huh? Believe in yourself, be consistent, go all out. It's no reason not to put yourself out there. Now, major
bullet points.
Double back. We gotta bring it in for the people that lose focus. Okay, he was talking to you. To you. Scoot over, move your head. To you. Now, again, 19, I'm going to keep reiterating, it's going to be a big year. This is a big month. May, again, we're looking for the brink of the new project. Third World is coming out, Third World Part 3. Yeah. Make sure that you guys link in, like, subscribe, tell a friend, repost, blow up the social media outlets. Let's get our city on the map where it belongs. We work too hard, and we've worked too hard for too long, and this man right here can let you know. He's been in the game, he's been putting people on, and he's going to continue to do so. So let's support him to make sure that his endeavors can continue to grow in a successful bout. I
appreciate all the pre-orders. It was crazy. Germany,
UK,
nice. Australia.
Very nice.
That's one good thing too. We've always had it's been more of a worldwide thing.
Following.
And it just shocked me. A guy wrote me a letter yesterday, not a letter, I'm sorry, but a message, a direct message saying how long he's been following, and it's amazing to me how many people we've had. 15 out. This will be album number 15, by the way. And for people that collect these and they keep them sealed, and he said, I'm missing one out of, I'm in Germany, do you ship to Germany?
How do I get it?
Of course, how do I get it? But it just amazes me that, to have overseas even people who follow for so many years.
That is awesome.
So that's, we're humble to get that kind of feedback.
So let me ask you this. Yes, I'm going in for the exclusives. Mm-hmm. When or do you plan on doing like an award banquet or a ceremony where you kind of really, really showcase what you've accomplished and really put it out there for everybody to commend you for your work? Because this is a big deal.
That's crazy you say that, because I was talking to Max about this, about even maybe doing a Baton Rouge banquet to honor, to really focus on all the Baton Rouge artists, that goes almost like a Hall of Fame too. We're looking into starting something like that because, the spotlight's on Baton Rouge right now.
It is. Finally get out of do just.
Yeah, it is. And, and shout out, Kevin Gates doing his thing, and Young Boy, really taking it to that another level, but we thought about doing that. We've been talking about, doing that. We are going to have a listening party.
Cool.
I'm not sure which club yet. Okay. But it's not really a concert, but a listening party.
We will be there.
We want y'all to be there. And what we want to do is have is focused on, you know, if anybody has any questions,
right.
or, you know, it's more a round table conversation.
I like that.
You know, and you know, at the same time they have a chance to hear the music as well.
I like that, and I think that'll be a great opportunity for up and coming artists, up and coming film, those who need to kind of get into the industry. That's the perfect time to come get connected and kind of ask the questions that you need to go where you're going. So right. I'm excited. Make sure you let us know. I will be there. All right, now I want to get all in your personal business now. You've kind of been everywhere as far as entertainment is concerned, even been on a lot of sets for film.
Yes.
How are some of those experiences? What's the craziest thing that you've kind of encountered behind the camera?
Oh, I got a crazy story. Yeah, I got a super crazy story. That's a good question. We had a film called Club 225 that we shot in downtown Baton Rouge, and this was in front of the old it's Raising Cane's now.
Yeah.
It was the old Coca-Cola.
Yep, right down the corner.
What was, I forgot what, I think it was a club at the time. It was a club, Inferno maybe, or something like that. So we were shooting a scene, and we forgot to you're supposed to let law enforcement know,
right?
If you're
blocking off for us.
If you're blocking off the street. And we had it was a robbery scene.
Gotcha.
And some guys had ski masks and fake prop guns, but they didn't know that. Somebody across the street thought the club was really getting robbed. So they called the police. They come out. Police draw their weapons. We got all the actors on the ground, you know, like on the ground, taking their ski mask off, throwing their prop guns down. And it was pretty scary, you know. It was so we learned that lesson that you know, if you're
call the people,
a scene and you're robbing a bank, or
call the people.
Yeah, you got to call them and let them know what you're doing. So that was probably one of the craziest stories that. Yeah.
Oh my goodness! Like just standing there, where was your heart? Like, was it under your shoes, or
it was beating fast? And I was trying to, you know, run out in the middle without trying to run out in the middle. I didn't want to get shot.
Right.
But to try to let them know, you know, we were yelling out, "Look, it's just a film. It's just a film." But there was so much commotion and things going on that they really couldn't hear. And like I said, all the cop cars pulled up. You know, officers jumped out, guns drawn, and it was scary.
That is crazy.
Yeah, it took the actors a few minutes
to regroup. Yeah,
to regroup.
I'm sure.
You know,
I'm sure they were like,
you know,
I don't even know if I could.
Camera rolling.
That's what I was about to say.
The camera was pointing the other way. It was rolling, but it was filming the other way. So,
I was about to say that would have been the perfect editing right there into the movie. Like we're robbing the bank and here come the people.
Yeah.
Perfect setup.
Right. That would have been cool to put that scene actually in there.
I know, like live action at its best.
But the camera was pointing the other way, so we didn't actually get that on tape.
That's okay. We're going to go check the LA archives. Somebody's street camera got it. Somebody's street cam picked it up.
Right.
Now, just watching the transitions from the 80s, the 90s to now, how different is the entertainment world just getting into it from social media? Because you guys kind of started social media before it was a social media.
Yeah, it's different. Yeah, we started the internet. We created the internet back in the day. But we had SouthCoastCoalition.com.
Right.
And I didn't know how big it was. You know, when you're kind of in the moment, you don't realize how big something is sometimes till you look back and reflect. And we had SouthCoastCoalition.com, and we had a forum page. It was almost like a meetup. It was like a social media before social media.
It's the dating site.
And we were getting at the time 1 million views a month.
Nice.
And we had a store page, and the store page had a selection of about 50 different CDs from artists, only Baton Rouge. We only sold Baton Rouge music, and when I tell you, we sold CDs every single day.
That is
all
what's
over
up.
the world. A lot of hard to find stuff like the Trill mixtapes, I remember, was a big item. Tebow's Firecracker Underground, Mookie Black, we had the Brown and White, the My Back Against the Wall, Box, Intoxicated. I'm just throwing out a few records that we sold. I mean, boxes and boxes and stuff. Because back then, a thing that's different now, I'm noticing, you just have to get people to play it now, to view it.
Right.
Back then, you had to sell it.
Right.
You know, you had to get people to buy into what you were doing, not just, you know, have
check it out.
Right. Not just to check it out. So it was harder, you know, you know, that was something that we went all out. Distribution was different.
Right.
You know, we had Gonzalez Music, which was down the street. You know, and you sold records then. You could go pick up a check every Friday. It was a great time.
Right.
You know, now, you know, it's a little harder. You got to get millions of downloads and streams and stuff like that. That part's a little bit harder than, you know, back then. You know, you sold a record. Every record you sold, you cleared $7 a copy. So
you got money in your hand there.
Exactly. Yeah, and we sold over 100,000 records. We, you know, with everything combined.
Right.
And actually, the album with Boosie charted Billboard 5 weeks straight. So that was our biggest selling album and our biggest I would say that was our biggest accomplishment.
Very nice.
So I'm trying to learn the game now. We had a video actually go viral this past weekend, so I'm trying to learn that game, because that's different,
It's a lot different. I think we get so used to that face to face, being able to meet a person, talk to a person, shake their hand. Right. And this generation, I don't think they'll have to walk. Their kids won't have to walk in the grocery stores. They won't know what those are. So of course, where entertainment is concerned, like you said, social media is going to play a key factor in anything we do now. That's
right. A lot of artists are blowing up off of their social media pages, and again, respect to them, because that's work too.
Right.
You have to, you got to stay on top of it
all day long.
All day long, you got to stay on top of that, because once you start to slack or let up a little bit, the next person's passing you up.
Right.
So to stay relevant, you have to stay on top of it.
I like that too. I like the fact that you are willing to make the adjustment so that you can continue to be successful and continue to be relevant, rather than kind of get set in the ways that a lot of companies do. Like, this is what we do, this is how we do it, and that's kind of a wrap on it.
Right, for sure. And it takes adjustment, but with technology's always changing. So that's what you have to do. You have to figure out, okay, what's hot, what the market is. You gotta know your market, what the demand is, and fill that need if they have that need. If you can fill that need, then that's what you need to do.
Right. Now, I guess one of the things that I'm burning to know, you work with so many artists, so I know you have so many stories.
Yes.
And some of those we will get in the documentary, but I know some of those are more personal experiences.
Yeah.
So let's kind of talk about, what was your craziest studio experience, like just being in the studio? Who?
Man, craziest studio experience was Soulja Slim one time when he had a show, and it was funny, and he was like, y'all, we met him actually through Tubbi when he was, with No Limit, and I'm like, yeah, we'd love to have you on something, got the compilations, like, cool, I'm gonna come through, So time goes by, doesn't show. Next thing you know, I think it was like 4 a.m, get a knock on the door,
I'm here.
I'm ready. Y'all ready? I guess we gotta be.
I was just rolling over good.
Right. So that was kind of a cool moment, looking back now. Soulja Slim, another legend, but that was just a cool experience. And whoever came through, was always drinking involved and sharing stories, laughs, and so it was always more than just a feature.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I said, that's what our studio was played a big part in the history of the city and the rap scene, because anybody who rap came through.
Right. Now, I know that you, again, have rubbed shoulders with not only artists, but creatives as well, and on personal levels.
Yeah.
So far as artists like Mista, how was that experience? Those artists that aren't here anymore, having that legacy or having that piece of them with you. How was that transition?
Actually, I met Mista. Actually, I met him. He auditioned for a film called Death Toll that I produced, and actually, that's gonna be in the documentary. I actually have the audition tape.
Oh, I'm
coming. Yeah, so there's so much stuff.
Watch him clown right quick.
But the thing about Mista, I knew I could count on him.
Right.
So that's why I continue to go to him. Crazy story about Mista. There was a film that he got a pretty good sized check. And I brought the check to him, and he tore it up. And I said, why'd you rip the check up? And he's like, man, I don't need your money. It's not my money.
Right.
This is the investors. Like, you earn this money. But he's like, look, just when I need something, look out for me.
Right.
And so I was like, okay. So he didn't necessarily, the money didn't go into my pocket, but he saved the investors' money, which that's just, he was about principle, and so he ripped it up. So that's kind of a cool story I have about him.
I think it is, because you don't see that at all anymore in a lot of cases, but more so where money is concerned. You think I'm about to rip up?
Right.
Check.
Yeah, who does that?
Off of principle, though, and I think he mirrored a cadence that allowed a lot of artists to step outside of the artistry and be more personable and be more community involved. Right. And I think that's, again, something that you're looking to do too, is not only through the music and the videos and the vlogs and just the whole company in itself, but through your person, you want to kind of reach back and bring everybody together in a unified manner.
A lot. And that's why, I started producing film in 2004, and anytime I can utilize a Baton Rouge rapper, I'm gonna put him in film. I put Boosie in tons of films. I don't know if y'all saw Video Girl with Megan Good, Webby, classic scene. We had the script. I put Webby in that one. He like, here's the script. And we're like, you know what? Just do you. Go off script. So that whole scene was all
just
freestyle, just natural. You know what I mean? And that, you know, I was worked on Ghetto Stories, put Max in a lot of films as well, nice. Tebow. You know, I like to reach back when I can. And if I can't put them in the film, the soundtrack.
Right,
something. So so any way I can give back, you know, I do. So
very
anytime
nice.
I can showcase Baton Rouge artists on a national scale. I produced a film called A Girl Like Grace that was on BET. And that was another one where I utilized there's a lot of Baton Rouge music in it.
Nice.
You know, so anytime I can reach back and help out, I make sure I do so.
So do you take direct contacts and inquiry where it comes to those placements and castings, or is there a certain way that they should be contacting you in regards to?
Well, you know, my Leverage Films, no spaces. That's my handle for social media. Usually, if you're doing something, I'm gonna find you.
Right.
You know, that's usually how it works. Even with the Diamonds in the Dirt, we're like, if you're really out there doing something, you don't have to come to us. We'll find you. You know.
Very nice.
Yeah.
All right, now, scariest moment. If you had to think of the scariest moment in your career, whether that was film, production, just actually putting the constellations together, what would that have been?
Scariest moment. Okay, music-wise, I'm not gonna say the club name. It's probably not there anymore. But
right.
It was you know, coming up, we had to do any show we could.
Right.
We were trying to build our name. It was a place. I don't know if y'all heard of Morganza.
Small.
But we had a show at Morganza, and there was only one way in, right. It was the front door.
Ooh.
And so we go in the door, and I'm noticing everybody, not only are they have the guns on them, but they have the guns showing. And I'm like, man, okay. And we had a couple people with us. They're like, well, look, we need to go get ours too, just right. in case, you know, everybody else, you know. So basically, I mean, it was so quote unquote gangsta in this club. When people were bouncing, guns falling on the floor, and I was just like, man, what do we get ourselves into? Yeah, this is probably not going to turn out good. But I remember this too. The floor was caving in.
Oh Lord, right in the middle.
The DJ would have to stop every now and then and say, everybody, if you can stop bouncing.
And shift this way. Step this way for me, ma'am.
So, you know, nothing really too bad happened, but we're just saying that it was a little tense.
That's nerve-wracking. The whole time I'm watching everybody's handles, trying to make sure I don't get shot. I think I would have been a little nervous too.
And just instead of being patted down, it's like everybody was strapped.
Guns are welcome. There's a little sign. You just missed it on the entrance. Right. Guns welcome.
Let's do what we're doing on stage. And
let's get out of here. Yeah. I think that's cool though. It kind of puts you in a space where you're paying attention to stuff differently now.
Yeah.
Very cool. Now, again, man of many hats. You're doing everything right now. Back to film. You're actually working on a reality show right now. When can we be expecting that?
Yeah, I do. I have a reality show that I'm producing called Beyond the Sash. Joe Mexican. Shout out to Joe Mexican again.
Everywhere.
He's filming and editing, but basically it's we partnered up with the Miss Kathy Wheatley, who used to run Hawaiian Tropic, the swimsuit competition. So now it's basically they end up selling Hawaiian Tropic. Energizer bought it out, so she ended up starting her own called Swimsuit USA.
Very
and we
nice.
got up with her, and it's 55 women, females from all over the world that compete. And the show is basically it was at Cancun this past time, but they have like a finals event. Cool. And it's all the behind the scenes, all the drama that goes on, all the, you know, and it's an experience.
I think that's like Victoria's Secret meets Bad Girls Club, right?
Pretty much, yeah, pretty much. And like I said, the girls are from all over, so it's kind of cool to meet, you know, I mean, in countries all over, you know, and so it's
I think that's awesome.
It's work, but
enjoyable work.
It's enjoyable work. It is.
Enjoyable work. Yeah. So where can we check that out?
Right now we're pitching Netflix. They're looking at it. So we just finished season 1.
Okay.
You know, so hopefully the goal is to get that picked up and then continue. We shot season 2, but we haven't edited that yet. So we're gonna try to get season 1 picked up first.
All right. So what it sounds like is that y'all need to go on social media right now, follow, so that we can keep up with the reality show, so that y'all can keep up with the release for Third World this month, happening this month. And again, continue to follow, because he knows that you're working and he's going to find you. But reach out, let him know that you see him, because eventually he will see you. Now, is there anybody you want to shout out? I know we talked about the business partner briefly, but
and for social media, the handle for Diamonds in the Dirt is Diamonds in the Dirt Film. Okay. So, you know, and right now we have some little kind of teasers and stuff.
Gotcha.
We have the trailer out. But as far as shouting out, man, just so many in Baton Rouge. Just too many, you know, to list.
He rock with y'all.
But on the Third World 3, you know, we worked X-File, Howard M. As far as on the production, Clever, who goes by Music Heads, is his group now. You know, who else is on there? We have Lakeith with hits with Lakeith. There's so many that I want to get that I can shout out, but mainly just look out for that Third World 3 that's coming this month.
You guys, I'm excited. You should be excited. TheAntidote.com will bring you the exclusives. We appreciate not only your time, but your energy and your years of vigorous work, making sure that we're heard.
Stories, but no, we only have so much time.
Man, y'all already know. I would cut this camera off and go in right now. I will go in. I want all the behind the scenes, but we don't want to cut you short. If there's anything you want to touch on, let's do it.
I don't know. You did your job. Good questions. I think you said a word association or something.
Yeah, we're going to do that. Okay. I got you covered on that.
Okay.
You guys.
I think we covered everything.
Awesome. Yeah. You guys, right here, right now, tune in to theantidote.com. Link in. I'll drop his social media handle so that you can link in and check out his works. Be on the lookout for Third World this month. Be on the lookout for the reality show that hopefully Netflix will pick up for us, because I want to see. You guys, it's your girl Tubbi of the Nerdy Bird site. I am here with theantidote.com, bringing you the true, the real, and the authentic. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next time.